Oh, sorry.
Hi, my name is Sophie Jeanette, also from 30 Swan Place. And I just had a concern for the daytime parking, if it's turned into 2-hour parking. I've noticed on Swan Street, where I believe it's 1-hour parking, that by about 7:45 in the morning, the street is full with cars parking there, and I think there's not a lot of turnaround, and my suspicion, my guess is that it's people who are working or in the center during the day and stay there for a while. So I am concerned that if the street is open for 2-hour parking, it hasn't been done for many years, and I wonder if there won't be a number of people who realize that that's a place to park during the day, and that will in fact not be enough spaces for the homes that don't have a driveway. So I don't know what recourse there might be if it turns out in fact that, by 8 in the morning those spots are filled, and then those of us
they'll get a ticket. I think sort of one of the catalysts to this was that we're beefing up some departments, like we talked about the fire department, the town manager, in terms of numbers and where we're at, and where we have hired more traffic enforcement officers. I'm not sure what to call them, the people who are going around writing the tickets. They have been going, and they started to ticket Swan Place, Swan Street, and then that's when letters came in. So basically what we've done in the interest of reaching a compromise is we've asked the police department, and someone correct me if my memory's wrong, to not ticket right now until we solve the Swan Place issue. And then once we do solve that, those, I'm going to call, is it traffic enforcement?
Parking control officer.
Do I have that correct? Then that enforcement will happen. So if that person does come and says, oh, good, 2 hours, I'm going to say 8. I mean, do you want to speak to that?
Yes.
Microphone.
Since this issue has come up, I did ask the parking control officers not to ticket that particular area till we get a final decision on what's going on, as, getting it from the residents saying that they should be able to park there because they're residents. Other people, wanting to go to businesses around there saying, they should be allowed to park there. Why are we getting tickets? So forth. And it is true, Swan Street is 1-hour parking. So maybe if you're going to try and match the rest of the area, maybe keep it 1-hour parking also, just the same as the adjacent street. There are multiple different parking times around that area, but that's something for you guys to decide.
Mr. Dunn?
I'm sorry, the original person, ma'am, I apologize. You just said your name and it already slipped my mind.
Sophie Jeanette.
I apologize.
That's okay.
I think that the ticketing is going to happen, and I think that you aren't going to see permanent, people parked out there. If you do, let us know, and we're going to, let the town manager know, let us know, and we'll follow up on it.
I guess I don't even mean necessarily that if people are there illegally, it could be 2 hours,
Yeah.
but if the whole street gets filled up pretty quickly with 2-hour people
Yeah.
even, and I have absolutely no place to park, there really is no other option. You can't park across, there's just no other place to go. So I'm just, it may not happen, it may not be that there's swarms of people, but I am concerned that if that does happen, whether there's some recourse for people who really aren't able to.
There's nothing that we do that's truly final. So if it turns out that we're making it, you know what I mean? If it's truly we're making it worse, and it turns out that you document it and you come back and you talk to us, I will gladly hear you again.
And can I just say to that point?
There are homes in East Arlington near the Outwife Station that make calls all day long about people that are parking more than 2 hours in front of their properties and stuff. So I understand your point. What if the street is filled with all 2-hour parking? What can we do but park around the corner and walk like they are, obviously, if they're parking on the street and they're not residents, and wait for the turnover for them to leave in the 2 hours, or you call about them being there longer than they should be.
That's it, exactly. You hit it.
Also, let's say, just from personal experience, if there is a parking change or something like that, the learning curve, usually putting in the parking control officer there to ticket. Past experience says people kind of learn real quick that it's not going to be an area that they're going to be able to stay for an elongated time, especially right in the center, where that's where the parking control officer spends a lot of time, because that's probably one of the busiest parking areas where you want to have the turnover for the businesses and everything like that. In your situation, I mean, if you're there, if you get an overnight permit and then you're there overnight and you're starting off the morning, it might not be a problem. Maybe coming back in the afternoon, you might have some situations, but it's going to be the same like, other people who live on areas of Mass Ave and have 2-hour parking, and they're not necessarily guaranteed a space in front of their house. It's a public street, so it's open to anyone. But I think that if there's a good enforcement campaign in the area, people will probably learn real quick that it's not an area that they're going to park without getting at least a $15 to $25 ticket.
And I guess I just also wanted to underscore Jim's request for some sort of guidance around guest parking, especially if the enforcement's going to be increasing. It really is a problem for folks on the street to not have a place where people can stay.
I mean, we can't.
I know.
Wouldn't that be the same guidelines as the up to 10 issue?
At nighttime.
I understand that, but I'm wondering whether someone brings in a repair truck, for example, would they be able to call that in and say it's going to be there for 6 hours or something?
What we've had in the past is it's not uncommon for someone to call into the station and say, I'm having work done at my house, such and such is going to be parked there. It's a timed area. Can, we have some consideration, and I don't know if anyone listens to the police radio. You might hear say, dispatcher saying give consideration to such and such address because they have work done. Usually it's not done because you have guests. Again, any other area that has time parking, and there's a number of areas around it that if it's a time parking zone, then it's a time parking zone. So they have up to what's allowed there. If they want to park elsewhere, stay longer, they might have to find an area where there's no parking time regulation.
Okay. We got to keep moving here, so. Anything else from the board members? No. Okay. So on the motion by Mrs. Mahan, seconded by Mr. Byrne, which is 2-hour parking on Swan Place, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed.